What's good? What's good? What's good? What's up, guys? It's over his game. Back with another live stream. We are back with another one. Alright, just sharing that real quick here. Let's get. How we all doing? Yeah, welcome back to another one. We have continuation World Gone Mad series season 3, episodes 5 and episode 6. Survival of the fittest would be my guess. I could be wrong on that. And POW. So, I'll correct if episode 5 title is incorrect. So I'll correct it when I go into it. It's not showing the whole thing, so with me sitting on the playlist, it's not showing the whole thing. So if by chance I'm a little bit incorrect, I will address it. How are we doing though? Let me just double check to see if everything is going good. Okay. Awesome sauce. All right. We're back on the grind, so I apologize for not. I ended up just sleeping in later, so I do apologize for that. It's kind of one thing that kind of didn't help in that situation is I didn't have an alarm. You know what I mean? So I kept going in and out and everything. So so that definitely didn't help my situation with waking up at a decent time, this and that. To be honest with you, I was sleeping pretty damn good. You know what I mean? And dreaming too. So it made it even more harder to want to get up. But today I definitely do shoot to get up at at least a decent time anyway, because there is a couple things I do want to do. So I'm going to force myself to get up. And obviously I do plan to do at least a stream or two, at least. So definitely do stay tuned. Going to kind of cram in some content. With Wednesday late night or Thursday early morning, content's going to be a little bit more compact here, because I do want to try to get some sleep and this and that, because I will be getting Dead Walker. Obviously, you guys know I will be getting him. So I do plan on doing a Hedgehog Bros episode first, of course. And then I'm gonna base that on like whether or not I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna base it on a couple things on whether or not I Yeah, because I am going to do Walking Dead Thursday's live stream, so I am doing that about 7:30, 8 o'clock time frame. I am going to shoot to do that, and this will be the last one until we get close to Daryl Dixon, season 3, the next spinoff that's going to be coming up here, September 7th. So I am going to be doing that. So those are at least 2 streams for sure, and I'm going to do Hedgehog Bros and the Walking Dead Thursday stream. I should be having Dan Reviews and Mr. Heisenberg, I believe, in this one. I don't know if Mr. Heisenberg 100% or not. But there is some definitely things that we want to definitely discuss, and a little bit of thoughts and stuff like that going into the season 3 and all that stuff. So that should be pretty dang fun and interesting, for sure. So we're gonna keep it a little bit more shorter, hour and a half type situation. You know what I mean? Something like that, maybe 2 max. I don't know if I really want to hit that 2. I want to more keep it around the 1 hour 30 mark. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm shooting for. But yeah. So that's kind of the scoop. I don't know if I'm gonna do any more, like in between, because during that time I might actually go to sleep, get some sleep, and then wake up for the Thursday stream, and then maybe to get a little bit more shut-eye after that. And then maybe I might do another stream during the day, maybe. Potentially. So, and obviously Dead Walker will probably be in that one. And like I said, we'll see if we do it, that is. So what's up, Luke? Welcome to the stream. I'm going to bed and just came here to wish you a good night. Alright, appreciate that, my man. Much love. Appreciate it. Dan Reviews channel, link is in the description. Definitely show him love and support. Would appreciate that very much. All credit goes to him, of course. This is his series that he made. So definitely check it out if you guys are interested. The playlist for this universe that he's doing is also in the description as well. So definitely do check that out for yourself. Hit that like button. Would appreciate it very much, especially if you guys enjoy. 5 likes, 5 to 7 likes, that'd be awesome. Crush that, lit. Hit that subscribe button. Part of the Warriors Army on the road to 8K. Appreciate the new subscribers. Much love. You guys have been showing a lot of support. I do appreciate it all the time. Hit that bell. Get notified every time I do go live and upload content. And follow me on my social media. Stay up to date with me all the time. Would appreciate that. Links below. Second channel, Twitch channel, Heisenberg's channel, over his reviews and over his gamer. Those are down below as well. Definitely do check them out. And if you guys want to help support the channel, become a member. Would appreciate that link below, as always. So, all that good stuff. I'll probably have a playlist reaction to his entire series, more than likely. So that will probably be down in the description as well. I don't know if I mentioned that in previous live streams or not, but I definitely plan to. So, shorter episodes, 35, 33 minutes for both of them, pretty much. So, interesting, if you know what I mean. So, this will be the last day at my location, and then we'll be going right back to my sister's yet again. So, and of course, Dead Walker will be with us, continuing that. So, like I said, we will be doing The Last of Us Part 2. I think we're gonna, or Shit of Us Part 2, excuse me. I think we will be jumping into that at a decent point. So yeah, it'll definitely be a mix. It'll be a mix for sure. Yeah. Hedgehog Bros reaction will be coming up next after this one. That's a definite. That's what I'm shooting for. It's a lengthy one, so hour 44. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that will probably do it. I probably might just save the rest for later, more than likely, but we'll see. We'll see where we're at that point. But anyways, episode 5. Let's get it. Links for everything down below. And some of my gaming streams might be a little bit put off. Potentially, I might do NHL. I might kind of squeeze that in there. I know I definitely plan to. I might not wear the headset for some of them. You know what I mean? I just might control the volume and stuff like that to try to not have an echo and all that stuff. Because like I said, Dead Walker will be with me. So that's going to make it very interesting, of course. Um, and like I said, this will be at my sister's location. Um, so it'll be that different scenery as well. So it should be very interesting. I know I haven't done that in a hot minute, so I might go potentially a little bit longer. I might do maybe 2 extra more games. You know what I mean? Because yeah, when was the last time I did an NHL stream? It's been a hot minute. So instead of doing 3, maybe I might do 5. Maybe I might do 6. I don't know. We'll see. Be a lengthy one for sure. But stay tuned. We're keeping the grind going. I am trying to get back in the grind even more. Feeling a lot better. Getting that grind energy going again. And a lot of content, you know what I mean? I gotta do Phineas and Ferb, I gotta do Family Guy. Shit. There's so much. So I gotta start jumping. And dishing out. So, this is a lot, man. It's crazy. So stick around. We're gonna try to cram it in. Woo! So let's get it, episode 5. World Gone Mad. Hit that like button, of course. Let's see where it goes. These past episodes have been very good, so I have pretty good hopes. They'll stay consistent. Surprisingly, Hedgehog Bros have been pretty consistent.
Episode 5, Survival of the Fittest.
Oh, see, I guessed it right. Fittest. Yeah, I got it right. W's.
It's the middle of the night.
It just makes
We see
sense.
4 deadheads are eating a deer. We then see a man running through the woods. He looks terribly dehydrated and he falls to the ground. He's on the ground and he looks like he wants to give up. He then sees the deadheads are walking up to him and he panics. He pulls out his gun and shoots one of them, but then he is out of ammo. The other 3 are about to feast on him, but then out of nowhere, they're all stabbed in the head by a fearless woman.
Oh, shit.
The woman takes off her mask, and we see it's the girl Tom and Billy helped back at the bar. She looks at the man and says, "Are you okay?" The man looks scared and the girl says, "I'm not going to hurt you." And she gives him her hand and says, "I'm Julia." And the man takes her hand and she helps him up, and the man says, "Thanks." "How'd you learn to fight like that?" Julia says, "My mom taught me. Growing up, I kind of had no choice but to learn." "You got a name?" The man says, "I'm Ryan." And Julia says, "How long you been out here, Ryan?" Ryan says, "I lost my crew about 3 months ago. We got attacked by another group of people. I'm the only one that made it out alive." And Julia says, "I'm sorry." And Ryan says, "Do you have any food or anything?" "I haven't eaten in days." Julia says, "I live in the city. Me and some of my mom's people have been out here on a hunt for the past 2 weeks, and we found barely any food ourselves." And Ryan asks, "Look, I don't want to ask too much, but is it possible I could come back with you?" Julia says, "Well, I'd have to talk to my mom about it, but for now, let's get you back."
Okay. Interesting.
We see Julia and her group of Vipers riding into the city, and we see Lindsay standing there at the gate with some of her men, and she walks up and hugs Julia, and Lindsay says, "I'm glad you're home." And Julia notices some bruises on Lindsay's face, and Julia says, "Mom, what happened to you?" Lindsay doesn't answer the question and asks, "Who's this?" Julia says, "Mom, this is Ryan. We found him out on our way back. He's badly hurt, so I thought we should bring him back here." And Lindsay says, "Oh, you poor thing. Well, I'm Lindsay, although you may hear the people call me the Queen." And Ryan says, "Queen?" Lindsay says, "Let's just say it wasn't exactly my choice to be called that, but it's who I'm known for." Lindsay says, "Hey, would you mind getting Ryan here set up?" I want to speak to my daughter alone for a minute. And Kate says, sure thing. Come on, let's go. And Lindsay takes Julia back home. Lindsay gets Julia some clean clothes, and we see them at home, and Julia walks out, and Lindsay says, so you find anything out there? Julia says, barely anything, Mom. How's home been since we left? Lindsay says, it's about as good as to be expected. And Julia says, what about those bruises? Lindsay says, baby, it's not something I want you worrying about. I'm fine. And Julia says, well, you don't look fine. And Lindsay looks like she wants to tell her, but then they're interrupted by a knock at the door.
Of course. Yeah, it's that.
It's Steven. We reveal he's back, and Lindsay says, oh my God, you're alive? Where's everyone else? He looks kind of nervous and doesn't look like he wants to answer, but he says, we need to talk about Miles.
Interesting way of opening. Icicle effect. Fucking.
Miles says, can I have one?
Oh no.
Dave turns around and pulls out his gun and is aiming it towards him, and Miles says, Dave, what the hell? Dave says, lay down your weapons or I'm gonna blow your fucking head off.
Fucking Miles.
Miles says, yes, of course. And he puts his two swords down, and Dave says, hands up. Miles is listening, and Dave says, keep your hands up. Get in the car. Go!
Yeah, fucking Miles. W is Dave.
Miles is thrown and locked up into a cell. Dave opens up the door and says, why'd you come here? Miles says, Dave, please, man. I've been with you since the start. Dave says, that doesn't matter. You came in here and you tried to kill these people. Miles says, yeah, you used to make me do the same damn thing. Remember Suburban Estates? Huh? Who said who there? Dave looks frustrated and Miles says, you've changed, man. And not for the better. Dave says, yeah, so have you. So in the spirit of this discussion that we're having right now, let's stop talking about who's changed more than who. And let's start talking about what we can change.
Yeah, you tell him. Tell him, Dave. Fuck him up.
We see the sunrise and we see Lincoln and Haley waking up. And Lincoln is putting on a new shirt and says to Haley, I'm going to a meeting today at 12. Dave is having a big meeting to discuss the infiltration on the Vipers. Haley says, okay. Hey, I gotta ask. This place, these people, are we staying? Lincoln says, well, Tom and Kesey aren't happy with it, but I can't let the past affect the present like this. When I made that deal with Dave, I told Tom that when the Vipers are gone, he can kill them. Haley asks, you think he will? Lincoln says, well, I'd say it's my business, but it's truly not. That's between the two of them. But look, I'd love to say there's another place out there for us. If you want the real answer, though, the world is literally ashes. I'm not saying this home is forever, but until we can all get our shit together, I'd say this is where we're meant to be. And Haley says, yeah, besides, it'll be easier to take out these Vipers if we're all together in the same place. And Lincoln says, exactly. Alright, I should go find the others. I love you. And she says that she loves him too. And they kiss, and Lincoln walks out of the building and outside. Lincoln walks outside and we see some target practice going on. We see Roger nails all of his shots and the instructor is saying, nicely done, Roger. We see Luke walk up to the soldiers and Roger takes a break and walks off for a sec. Then, all of a sudden, Roger recognizes Luke.
Oh.
Roger says, Luke. Luke says, Raj. They hug each other, and Roger says, how the hell are you, sir? Luke says, I'm good, man. I thought you were dead, you fucking idiot. And Roger says, I thought you were dead too, you scumbag. Luke says, I heard this is Paul's group. But damn, man, I didn't think he had survived. Roger says, me neither. And Luke says, yeah, after the world fell, me, Wesley, and some others set up a big community ourselves. Roger asks, and Wesley? Luke says he, lost his way. It's not easy to say, but, he was out of control. And he was gonna kill my friend Lincoln. And I killed him before he killed him. And Roger says, damn, man, sorry I had to do that shit. And Roger says, it's in the past now. And Roger says, well, it's so great to have you here, brother. And then we see the instructor says from a distance, hey, Bert, Ernie, up here. And Roger says, sorry, sir. We see the instructor walk up to them, and Roger says, Luke, this is our instructor, Clay. Clay, this is my best pal, Luke. Clay shakes Luke's hand and says, great to meet you, sir. And Roger says, me and Luke go back since junior high. And Clay says, well, Luke, let's see what you got. And he hands him a machine gun, and Luke aims to the target and nails all the shots. And Clay says, very impressive there, soldier. We then see Dave walk up to them and says, hey, meeting at 12. And Roger says, you got it, boss. And then Clay says, all right, let's try that again. We see Haley putting a new shirt on. She opens up one of her closets, and we see a bunch of guns someone appears to have stored inside, and she looks kind of suspicious. But she closes it back up and decides to keep it in there in case she'll ever need them. We then see her walk into the kitchen, and we then hear a knock at the door. She opens up the door, and we see Dave says, hey, just wanted to ask you if you come to the meeting at 12. I'd like to have everyone there. Haley says sure, and then Dave walks away. We then see Dave walking the streets on his way to the meeting, and he sees Kezia and Blake walking by, and he asks, can one of you get my prisoner and bring him to the meeting room? We're gonna need him. And Blake says, all right, you got it. And Dave walks away and says, thanks, but Kezia gives him a mean look. Miles is sitting in the cell, and then the cell door opens, and we see Kezia standing there with a pistol pointed towards him. And Blake is standing there as her backup. Kezia says, on your feet, it's time to move. And Miles says, please, sweetheart, I'd love to just talk to Dave. Kezia says, well, I report to Mr. Miller. And that means you're reporting to me, pal. And Miles says, where are we going? Kezia says, well, Dave's little bitch is going to give us the information that he promised. Miles says, I came here to help you people. And so far I've been knocked out, interrogated, and held at gunpoint. I get it. But please, just let me speak to Dave. Kezia says, okay. Blake, take my man there out of his cell. He tries to resist, take a finger if you have to. Miles says, please, bitch. I could take you down so fast it would make your head spin. Kezia says, how would you do that after I put you down in your ass? Miles laughs, and then Blake puts a bag on his head, and they take him to go see Dave.
Damn. Freaking cocky one.
Back in the Viper City, all we see is the residents flooding the streets.
Cocky son of a bitch.
We see Lindsay guarded by Vipers walking through the streets, and we see the people are trying to get her attention, but the Vipers keep telling the residents to back off, and then someone throws a rock and it hits Lindsay in the head.
Oh, damn.
The Vipers take her and push her through the crowd until she gets inside the throne room.
Oh, damn. That's what you deserve, bitch.
Once they're inside, we see Delta and a few other Vipers walk up to them, and Delta says, oh my god, what the hell happened to you? Nate says, residents are getting angry. The outlaws killed a lot of our fighters, and the families want justice for that. And still nothing from Miles. Delta says, well, we need to stop this. It's getting too dangerous to even go outside anymore. And Kate says, well, until we get this under control, we should keep the Queen safe here. And Lindsay says, my daughter. Kate says, we've got sergeants at your place right now keeping her safe till the crowd gets under control. Delta says, no, you control the crowd. I'll worry about what's going on in here. And for God's sakes, make sure she doesn't get another hit to the head. Kate looks super pissed and walks away.
Crazy. It's okay, you can keep throwing things at her.
Back at Kingstonville. We see everyone gathering together in the meeting room. Everyone sits down and we see Kesey and Blake walk in with Miles, and they take the bag off his head and everyone's just staring at him. Roger asks, what in the hell is he doing here? Dave gets up and says, we are all here to get information. Miles is going to be a part of that. And Tom says, and how long are we keeping this prick in here? Dave looks at him and says, as long as I see fit. And Tom rolls his eyes and so he says, how do you know that we can trust a single word coming out of his mouth? Miles says, you don't, but I know this woman. I know how she operates. And I know the kind of people you're dealing with. Roger says, so? Tom has a point. Why should any of us listen to a damn word he has to say? Miles looks at everyone and says, when I first found Dave, it was at the very beginning of this thing. We traveled for almost a year, and for a while, he was the only friend I had. We thought for a while we may be the last people left in the world, and when the Vipers found me, I was hurt. They took me in, saved my life, but I knew they wanted something from me. And I listened because they made sure that I felt like I owed them. So I killed for them, just like I did for Dave before. But one of them already told her I'm dead, and I'm not going back. There's one side I'm on, and that side is yours. After this ends, you want me gone, dead, tortured, so be it. But let me say it again. I'm on your side, and I'm here to help you win. Dave looks at him and says, okay, so where is she? Miles says, Lindsay and about 500 Vipers are set up in the city about 80 miles away from here. Lincoln says, Washington? They took it over? Miles says, part of it, yeah. But one of the many things I knew with being a sergeant is that there's plenty of ways that we can get in without anybody noticing. Dave says, and the others? Miles says, she's got 6 outposts around the area. Luke says, and how many in each outpost? Miles says, usually the number is around 40 to 50 per outpost, but it varies. The closest one to here is about a 30-minute drive from here. And Dave asks, where is it? Miles says, it's an old power plant. They're pretty stocked with guns and ammunition, however, with enough of us, we can get in. And Dave then looks over at Lincoln and says, what do you think, Mr. West?
Damn, that's a lot of information.
Lincoln says, get him a map. And they put down a huge map on the table, and Dave says, all right, do you remember where each outpost is located? Miles says, the Queen always makes sure that we know everything and where everything is, so yeah, I can show you exactly where they are. And we see him highlighting all 6 locations on the map, and Lincoln looks at it and shows it to Dave, and Lincoln says, so this power plant, how do we get in? They give Miles a pencil and a paper, and he draws them the layout of this place, and Blake then says, so how do we get in? We going through the back, or is there another way? Lincoln looks at the drawn-out layout and looks at everyone and says, we don't have to figure a way in. We're going to walk right through the front. And Dave says, what are you thinking? Lincoln says, I've got a plan. And Dave looks at everything they have here and says, all right, it's settled. We hit it tonight.
Damn! All right.
Back in the Viper City. We see people still walking the streets, and we then see Lindsay sitting inside of her throne room, and she says to Delta, this isn't going to stop. And Delta says, look, my queen, the people are frustrated. A lot of our people have died, and these people, your people, are scared for their lives. And Lindsay looks kind of suspicious and says, maybe. Or maybe there's something else going on here. And Delta says, well, what do you suppose it is, my queen? Lindsay says, I don't know, but I know one thing, I'm getting home to my daughter. And Lindsay starts walking towards the exit, and Delta grabs her and says, Lindsay, you can't go out there, it's too dangerous. And Lindsay looks at her with a mean look and says, take your hand off my shoulder. And Delta backs off, and Lindsay goes back outside, and she's trying to make it home to check on her daughter.
You can kill her, that's fine. What's up,
We
Dan?
see that she made it back home. She opens up the door, and it's very dark. She's calling for her daughter. Julia? Honey, are you here? Lindsay starts to look scared, and we then see through the shadows, Julia is tied to a chair and held at gunpoint by a masked man.
Oh! Oh, damn.
The man points the gun to Julia's head, and we see Julia shaking and is whispering, "Mom?" And Lindsay looks scared and says, "Please don't hurt her." The man says, "Lay down your weapons." And Lindsay drops them and says, "You're angry. I get it. But please don't hurt her. Please. It's me you want, right?" And the man says, "You think this is about the outlaws?" "No. We've been watching you for a long time, Lindsay. You're not fit to run this place anymore. There's been a hit out on you for a long time." And Lindsay says, "Please, just put the gun down. Please, we can talk. Please." And the man says, "Do you think I'm in this by myself? A lot of people want you dead, Lindsay. And now,
Damn.
they're finally going to get what they want." And he points the gun towards Lindsay and fires.
Oh!
She ducks, and the bullet breaks
Whoa.
the window. Lindsay then tackles her
Damn.
on the ground and drops the gun across the room.
Get out of the bitch!
Lindsay's trying to strangle him, but he then kicks her to the ground. She gets up, and they're knocking everything over as they're fighting, and a lantern drops and sets the place on fire.
Oh.
They're still fighting, but we see Lindsay is reaching for her knife on the ground. She manages to get it and slices the man's throat
Damn.
open, and he bleeds out and dies.
Lucky.
As the building is now starting to burn, we see Lindsay then rushes to her daughter and cuts the rope with her knife, and she and Julia try to get out together as her home is burning down.
Damn. Crazy.
We then see all the residents are standing outside, and they all think Lindsay's dead, but we then see her in slow motion, walking out of the smoke with Julia by her side. And as Lindsay stands there with no look of guilt on her face, we zoom out to see the hundreds of people kneeling before her.
Shoot me. Holy shit. What's good, Dan? How you doing? Teamwork is real outpost.
About 25 miles out of Kingstonville,
Someone wants her dead. Yeah.
we see 4 military trucks parking their vehicles just outside of an old farm, and Lincoln's people and Dave and his soldiers all step out of their vehicles. We see Lincoln, Dave, Tom, Haley, Luke, Blake, Kezia, Roger, and along with 50 other military soldiers.
Damn. Let him
Lincoln
up.
sits down and is loading his guns up, and Dave walks over and asks, "You think this plan's gonna work?" Lincoln says, "It should, and if it doesn't, you know what to do." Dave says, "It's probably a good thing we let Sydney hang back. Check out the rest of the places on the map." Lincoln says, "Yeah. Once we're done here, we'll find out once Sydney's back if he's lying or not." We then see Dave says, "All right, everyone, listen up. We're leaving our cars here, so we're not anywhere near the power plant. But we're going to have Blake and Haley hanging back here as backup while the rest of us are in there. If things go sideways, they'll be out here." And Roger says, "Yes, sir." And Dave says, "Now me and Lincoln are calling the shots here. If either one of us gives you an order, you will do as asked. Do we understand?" The soldiers say, "Yes, sir." And Dave says, "Let's go."
W is Dave. My man is pulling through.
We see the power plant all lit up at night. We see 2 men on guard as we zoom up the hill, and we see Dave and the rest of our group getting ready for Lincoln's signal. Dave and the rest are all up the hill, and the military is getting into position, and Dave lights a smoke as they wait. Tom says, "Give me a drag, fuckhead." And Dave lets him have a puff, and then Roger says, "He's here." And Dave puts out the smoke and pulls out his gun. Lincoln is walking up to the front gate on his own, and we see 2 guards are saying, "Stop right there! Hands where I can see them!" Lincoln says, whoa, 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 we're friends, we're friends. And the guard looks suspicious, and Lincoln says, I'm Sergeant Kevin from the city. Me and my people were ambushed by those pricks called the Outlaws. It's only me now, and I'm just trying to get back home, that's all. And the guards lower their guns, and guard one says, oh damn, sorry man. We didn't know. Open it up.
Savage.
Lincoln walks in, and guard one says, glad we found you, Sergeant. We don't need another sergeant falling. And Lincoln says, thank you. And guard one says, it's my pleasure. If you want, we'll get you set up with a car and some supplies for your travel back. And Lincoln says, that would be great. Thank you. And then the two guards start walking away. And Lincoln walks up behind one of them and sticks a knife right in his back, and he falls.
Damn!
The other Viper says, what the? Lincoln then shoots him with a silenced pistol.
Damn! Badass.
Lincoln then opens up the gate and gives everyone the signal to enter. The rest of the group with all the military start flooding in, and Lincoln says, I take a group, the rest are with Dave. They then slowly start walking through this place.
Clever plan.
Roger and some are walking through this place, and they quickly back up against the wall as a few Vipers pass by, and Roger waits for them to pass by, and then they enter one of the buildings.
I can't get over that, fuckhead.
They enter the building, and they're starting to walk through the halls. Then a few Vipers start shooting at them from down the hall. Roger takes cover and then fires back. Roger reloads and hands the mag over to Luke, and then they keep moving down the other way.
Damn.
Back with Lincoln's group, we see them running through the streets. They open fire on 8 Vipers, then they enter a building. Lincoln says, me and Tom go to the top floor to the armory. The rest of you, kill every last one of these murderers. Now go!
Hell yeah.
Back with Roger's group. They're firing back at some Vipers down the hall, and Roger says, I'm out. And Luke says, get back! He pulls out a grenade and blows up the Vipers down the hall. There's still one of them left. He fires at Roger, but Luke shoots him in the head before he can.
Damn.
Back with Blake and Haley. They're sitting in the car, and then they hear gunshots from not too far. Haley looks a bit freaked out, and then Blake says, wait, you hear that? They hear the sound of like someone walking through the woods. Blake says, you stay here. I'm gonna go check that out. Haley says, what is it? Blake says, I don't know, but if it's the Vipers, we can't let them get to the power plant. They could mess this whole thing up. And Haley follows behind him. We see Blake and Haley dip into the woods, and they see fresh tracks in the snow. Haley says, you were right. Someone's definitely been here. And Blake says, the tracks go this way. They keep following the tracks, but then the trail goes cold.
Oh shit.
A Viper comes out of the woods and swings at Blake. Blake ducks, and then Haley gets knocked in the head, and she falls to the ground. Blake tries to swing at him, but the Viper sticks a knife into Blake's arm. Blake screams out in pain, and then as Haley is trying to get up, the Viper pushes her down the hill and into the river.
Damn!
Haley falls into the water, and she's trying to swim out, but she then gets pulled under the water by a deadhead.
Shit!
She's struggling with this deadhead, but she ends up taking out her knife and stabbing it in the head with enough effort. She then, with enough effort, gets out of the water, and by the time that she makes it back up the hill, Blake and the Viper are gone.
Shit. Maybe we should have stayed
Lincoln and Tom are running through the halls, and Lincoln says, the door down there on the right, that's where he said they'll be. And they then run to the armory.
Maybe we should have stayed at the damn car.
There's a Viper in there. He takes a swing at Lincoln, and Tom blocks it, but then the Viper pushes Tom off at him. The Viper looks at them both and says, well, I want to thank you for everything you did here tonight. Now, thanks to you, I don't have to lead these assholes anymore. And I get to kill the outlaw himself. He takes a swipe at Lincoln, but Tom gets in the way.
Go town.
The Viper then knocks Tom to the ground, and when he turns around, Lincoln starts bashing his head in.
Oh!
Tom gets up, and Lincoln won't stop crushing the Viper's head in. Tom says, "Lincoln, stop!" He's dead. Lincoln and Tom take a few guns each, and Lincoln walkies Roger and says, "We got the guns. Let's end this." And Roger says, "Copy that."
Excuse me.
We see
Damn,
Lincoln and Tom
good.
walk through the
Fuck.
halls and shoot the last Vipers left, and they then walk outside.
This might be 10 out of 10. Huh. Truly. Very good.
We see it's now the next morning. Everyone walks out, and we see the dead bodies everywhere, as they then look relieved.
Oh, misspelled.
We see everyone gathering up the guns and the food and supplies from this place, and they go back and check on Blake and Haley. Once they're ready to go, they see an empty car, and Blake and Haley are nowhere to be found. And we see a huge look of panic on Lincoln's face.
Really digging this episode. This is good.
3 hours ago.
Oh shit.
We see the same Viper who was fighting Blake and Haley walks up to Lindsay, Cade, and some other Vipers in the woods. And Lindsay says, "David, I got your message. We came a long way for this. What's going on?" David says, "The power plant is gone, Your Grace. The outlaws took everything while I was on a supply run." And Lindsay looks pissed, and David says, "I'm so sorry. But I do have something that I think you're going to want to see."
They should have stayed at the car. I'll be real with you.
We then see Blake tied to a tree and covered in blood. Lindsay walks up to him, and David tells her, "This is one of the outlaws themselves." And Lindsay looks at Blake, and we see he's shaking, but he says, "You're the bitch who killed my friends."
Ha!
And Lindsay starts laughing and says, "Well, what goes around comes around." And Blake says, "You crazy bitch." Lindsay says, "Crazy? You want to hear crazy? The world as we know it. Then one day, people die. They come back and rip your face off for a midnight snack. Crazy is taking out a bunch of people at a factory when they never bothered you. Oh, crazy is my daughter being held hostage by a man who wants me dead. That's crazy. But this isn't crazy. No. This is survival of the fittest.
That's right.
And only the strong survive. But right now, we have to take care of the weak.
Yeah.
We then see them light the tree on fire.
Oh no, not. Oh man. Damn. Not my man Blake. That psycho bitch.
As we watch Blake burn alive and he's screaming at the top of his voice.
Damn. That son of a bitch, you should stay at the car. Come on. Damn, man. Freaking crime, dude.
We see Lindsay walk to her men and she says,
Damn.
"When the screams stop, put him out." And she walks away and we see Blake's screaming is fading away as he's slowly burning alive.
Damn, man. That's cool.
looking at this, and once Lindsay walks far enough away, we see a few Vipers walk up to Cade, and one of the Vipers asks him, "So what's next, Cade?" Cade says, "Well, we tried the riots. It didn't work. So now, I'm gonna have to take care of her myself."
Oh, so they're still trying to kill the bitch herself. Ah! Wow. Poor Blake, man. Shit. Poor Blake. Truly. I tell you what, though, he should have stayed his ass in that car, though. Damn. Should have, man. They both should have. I mean, Haley got lucky, but damn. You know, that it definitely should have. You know what I mean? Just for the safety of themselves. Until you had more backup, maybe. You know what I mean? Because with the woods, you never know. You never know what can go down. Damn, that was good. It's good, bro. Yes, sir. Glad I was able to catch it for you. I figured you would freaking come out of the shadows. I figured you'd come out of the shadows eventually, Mr. Dave. Yes, sir. Dave is full on with us now. Thought I was going to take advantage of Dave now. I couldn't help. That shit was hysterical. There we go, Rick Blake. Has been there since 202. A long-running character there, yes, for sure. For a hot minute, anyway. Appreciate the new sub, thank you. I appreciate the support, by the way, at the last episode of Headshot Bros. Damn, we're almost nearing 500. That's crazy. Wow. That one's blowing up like crazy. It's got to be because of the title. That'd be my guess. But still, that's crazy, man. 500? Jeez. Whew. I have no doubt in mind that it'll pass it. But damn. Appreciate it. Thank you. Glad you guys were enjoying that. That episode was pretty good. It's pretty funny. Wow. Yo, Dan, I think you hit the 10, man. I think you did. I think I'll give it a 10. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Wow. Impressive. Never thought you could hit it. Oh, I'm just kidding. It definitely was taking a lot, you know what I mean? It definitely was. But I was really digging the episode, truly. It just, everything was flowing nicely. And the laughters were freaking crazy. Truly. Hysterical. 10 out of 10. Hell yeah, man. Yes. Yeah, I was freaking digging it. The episode was very enjoyable. It had everything. Really. You know me, I don't give it a 10 just because. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been back and forth with 8s and 9s. You know what I mean? So, impressive to hit a 10. Damn, what a way to end it off too. Shit, crazy. But it was just that good. I liked it that much. I mean, it had everything. You know what I mean? It had a mix of all types of twists and turns. That I can't give anything lower than that. It's a 10. It's perfect to me. I mean, you know. So, 306, I can say, is a Sydney Focus episode. Okay. Interesting. I don't know about a 10, but it's got a chance, but, you know, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it was pretty damn good. The next time I react to when I do episodes, 7 and 8 and all that, what I might do is actually I might do 3 episodes. I might do 7, 8, and 9, just because it would be an odd number. You know what I mean? If I just do 2 and then 1, you know what I mean? And I don't know about being right with doing season 3 finale and then season 4 premiere. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I might just grind 3. You know what I mean? That's a grinder for sure. 3 episodes, W's, bro. Well, this one, this one would only be 2, obviously. But, I don't know. I think it would make more sense to me to do 3. But yeah, very good, very freaking good. I will say, some critiques has some, but they're very minimal and they're easy fixes. There's some names. I could tell there's a typo. You know what I mean? Like typos. You know what I mean? You have some minor typos in there. You know when it should be one character and it should, you know what I mean? But then you say the other character. You know. I will say that. And I definitely noticed it in this episode. It kind of stood out. When I think when he was explaining, it was between the 2 characters. I know that. I think it was with the Roger. It was the Roger and I think it was between Roger and Luke, I believe, or Lincoln. I don't know. I think it was Luke. It was between that. Because he said the same name twice, and I was just like, wait a minute, nah, you're supposed to say the other name. I was like, and the typo was there too. I was like, oh, whoops, that's it. And then the relieve, yeah, that was typo. You know, some of those just stood out. I was like, oh, whoopsies. You know. I don't usually gripe about those, but you know. But I would say definitely going forward, definitely really try to look for those. You know what I mean? Or obviously when you're narrating, you know what I mean. Try to. I mean, obviously you're not perfect, of course, but you know. That was definitely noticeable. You know, I found it kind of funny, you know. Well, I knew what you were meaning, and so that's why I was like, not a big deal, you know what I mean? But it definitely was noticeable, you know. But nah, that doesn't knock my rating down. I still thought everything about it was great. So, I agree that it starts fresh for season 4. Absolutely, yes, sadly that can happen. Glad you enjoyed the episode, though. Truly, thank you. Appreciate it. Let me know what you guys thought. In the chat or so. Oh yeah, it's definitely about to pass it. Damn, that's crazy. That is crazy. You know, those Hedgehog Girls episodes have been pretty damn good as well. I've been actually surprised. They've been, I've been very amazed, actually. They've been hitting 8s and 9s constantly. I'm like, wow, alright. I'm impressed. Obviously the past few, they've been hitting 7s, but they're high 7s, you know what I mean? Like, usually I'm in the mid to low 7s, you know what I mean? You know, which are okay, you know what I mean? I like them, you know. But I'm hitting high 7s, you know what I mean? Which is like 7.8, 7.9. I'm almost quite at that 8, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, wow. I'm impressed. You know? Surely. I am. Very impressed. We're hitting very good episodes. And it just keeps going. Which W's. So, I wonder if I'm gonna run into some, you know, dippers, if you know what I mean. Huh. I wonder. Or is it just gonna keep riding? Might. Guess we'll find out. But, I know the next 2 definitely look like bangers. So, I'm not going to have any doubt on those. But it's after that. You know. But yeah, no, very good, very good. Very good, very good. Episode 6. POW. Again, check out Dan. Show him some love and support. Let's see what we have in store for this episode. We're getting there. We're definitely on the past the halfway point for sure now. Damn, I made it was crazy though.
Episode 6, POW.
Go. Sydney, focus.
Flashback to 2 months after the outbreak. We see Sydney and Emma. Emma is aiming her gun towards 2 deadheads coming up the hill. Sydney is watching her, and Emma pulls the trigger and misses. Sydney says, "It's alright, sis. Try again." And Emma looks through the scope real close and fires once again, and nails one of the deadheads. And then she has 1 more left. And on her first try, she kills the other deadhead. And Sydney says, "Nice shot." We then see them enter a gas station. They kill a few deadheads that are inside, and then they put all the food that they can into their bags and leave. We see the sunset, and then we cut to night. Emma is sitting by the campfire. Sydney comes up and throws a few logs into the fire and asks, "Something wrong, sis?" Emma says, "No, I'm fine. It's just, I'm wondering when we're going to get out of this nightmare." Sydney hands her some food, and Emma thanks her and says, "I guess I'm just scared this will be our lives. Surviving like this day after day until someone eventually kills us." And Sydney says, "Hey, I don't want to ever hear that kind of talk from you again." Emma says, "No, I'm serious. I mean, what are we doing?" Sydney says, "Staying alive. And when we get out of this, we're going to rebuild a life for ourselves, I promise." And Emma says, "I just hope we get something, an answer, some kind of sign that there's something out there for us." Sydney says, "Look, sis, whatever happens to us, whether we're out here for 2 more days or 2 more years, I'll never let anything happen to you." And Emma says, "That goes for you too." Sydney says, "Protect me? That's sweet, sis, but I don't need anyone to protect me." And Emma says, well, either way, I'd take a bullet for you. Just remember that.
Respect. Have each other's backs.
Currently. Sydney snaps out of it and she says, it should have been me, sis. It should have. We then hear Luke over the walkie. Sydney, what's your status? Sydney pulls herself together and picks up the walkie and says, yeah, still looking. How about you guys? Luke says, yeah, we're about to hit the power plant. We'll contact you when it's done. And Sydney says, perfect. I'll keep you posted if I find anything. Luke says, copy that. And Sydney looks sad, but then starts the car back up, and then she then sees it's almost out of gas. She pulls over and steps out of the car, and takes out the gas jug out of the trunk, and is about to start filling up the car, when all of a sudden, we hear a gun click behind her.
Oh, shit. Start the episode right here. Oh.
There we see a woman with a fully loaded shotgun pointed towards her and says, drop it. And Sydney puts it down and the woman says, hands up. And Sydney does as she asks, but the woman says, give me your keys. And Sydney says, look, I don't want any trouble. And the woman says, then we won't have any. Now give me your keys. She cocks the gun and says, now this is the last time I'm asking you. And Sydney says, look, we can make a deal. You don't need to do this. And the woman looks pissed and says, just know, I tried to do this the right way. And she knocks Sydney to the ground and knocks her out.
Oh, damn. What's she doing? Stealing the goddamn car? Oh, there you start the episode. Okay. Yeah. I thought for sure you were going to leave off on a cliffhanger there, and then start the episode. They're going to do some Walking Dead shit. That would have been funny. But you didn't, so surprise.
Flashback to day one before the outbreak.
Ooh.
Sydney is getting ready for work. We see her walk into the kitchen and grab a coffee. We see her mom named Frankie walks in and says, oh good, you're not gone yet. Listen, Emma has a half day today, and she's not legally allowed to drive for a few more weeks. And my car is still at the shop, and your lunch hour is at the same time. If it's alright, do you mind? Sydney says, of course, I'll pick her up. Frankie says, thanks, sweetie. You know, having you crash here for a few weeks has been great. Sydney asks, you sure I'm not a burden? Frankie says, no, of course not. Your rent every month was through the roof. Sydney says, well, good thing is, I think I finally found the perfect place, and it's literally only a 5-minute walk to work. And Frankie says, well, thanks for picking her up. And Sydney says, no, it's no problem. And we then see her getting ready for work. We see her driving to work. She's jamming out to some music in her car. But then, we hear the guy on the radio talking about this virus that seems to be spreading. And Sydney rolls her eyes at this and says, oh my god, can you guys talk about something else for a change? And she turns it to another station. She's pulling into work, and we see her parking, as her friend Glenn is also parking next to her, and says, well, good morning, Sydney. Sydney says, Glenn, I see you're here on time. Glenn says, well, the boss is thrilled. Sydney says, yeah, I know, he told me. They caught another viper last night. Glenn says, yeah, the boss thinks that we're getting ever closer to finding their leader. And Sydney says, well, so far we've taken down 5, this one being 6. And Glenn says, yeah, well, we better get in there. The meeting starts in a few minutes. We see everyone sitting down, and their boss walks in and says, all right, good morning, everyone. As you may have heard, we have found another one of these vipers. We have more leads from a few of you that I'll get to, so I'll be speaking to a few of you later today. But great work, everyone. We are going to find them, and we will take them down. Everyone cheers with him, and then he says to Sydney, come with me. We see the viper that's been arrested is now sitting in the interrogation room, and we see Sydney and her boss walk in, and the boss says to the viper, well, hello. And the Viper says, my lawyer isn't here yet. And the boss and Sydney sit down, and Sydney says, we're quite aware of that, but this meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. And it's 9:20 now. The boss says, so let's talk. You were caught last night selling meth to a 16-year-old girl, which was caught on tape by our crew, and yet you're denying the fact that you even did it. So please, tell us the story. I can't wait to hear this one. I'm sure you thought long and hard about this one. And the Viper's about to defend himself when all of a sudden, the door opens. We see Lindsay, the lawyer, walks in and says, excuse me, are you speaking to my client without his lawyer present? The boss says, and who are you? Lindsay says, I'm Lindsay Quinn. I'm this gentleman's lawyer, and you two are the DEA. Let me guess, you're a bunch of know-it-alls that want to frame someone who hasn't done anything wrong because you had nothing better to do with your time than to judge an innocent man? Is that the kind of people you are? And Sydney says, okay. Well, if he's so innocent, then let's listen to what he has to say. The Viper says, well, I was set up. A man who was part of this crew that you've been hearing about called the Vipers are definitely out there. I was going into a bar, and I was held at gunpoint by a man. He threatened to kill me if I didn't do this job for him. And Sydney says, okay, let me ask you this. Why did this man force you to give drugs to a young woman? Lindsay tries to say something, and Sydney says, let the man explain. And the Viper says, the man threatened me. He wanted this deal done, and he knew that the DEA were on his ass. So he got me to do it. He got me to do the job so that I would get caught. And I'd be the one who would get locked up. Boy, did it work. And Sydney says, oh, so what you're saying is that we got the wrong guy, and that you're just an innocent man. Is that what you're telling us? And Lindsay says, now are you really going to turn him down when you don't have any evidence of this being a lie? We then see Sydney's boss laughing, and Lindsay says, is this funny to you? The boss says, yeah. That's one of my favorite bullshit stories I've heard my entire career. Definitely top 5 or 10. And Sydney says, okay, so let me ask you this. How come you're wearing the exact same clothes you were in 2 hours before you went to the bar? When we saw you driving by 2 hours later, we caught the same man, same height, same hair, same features, giving drugs to a young girl. Because to me, I'm pretty certain that we're looking at the same man here that we have in the pictures. And the Viper looks very nervous and says, he gave me his jacket. He wanted me to blend in. And Sydney says, but you had the same hairstyle before you walked into the bar. You changed your hair color too? Lindsay says, you both haven't been listening to him. He's telling you the truth, and I'd like some real listeners here. And Sydney gets up and says, well, you'll get the listeners you want, because the only person you're going to be talking to now is the court of law. And Lindsay says, you're not walking away until I talk about this. And Sydney and her boss start walking away, and Sydney says, you might want to add a little bit more to that story for the judge. Make sure to spice it up a little bit. Make it interesting for the judge before you put him to sleep. And then they walk away.
Damn. Crazy.
Lindsay walks away, and Sydney's boss walks far enough away, and we see Sydney looks at Lindsay from a distance, and Lindsay says from the other end of the hall, tread lightly, Sydney.
Oh, that's the bitch. Oh, pfft.
Currently.
Shit, I wasn't even...
We see Sydney waking up, and we see she's tied up and sitting in the back seat.
Fucking blended
As she
in
looks
that,
up
I
at the front,
didn't even...
and the woman who knocked her out is now driving, and she looks through the rearview mirror and sees Sydney is awake. The girl says,
I was so
"It
locked
didn't have
on
to
to
be this
Sydney,
way.
I wasn't...
I told you I just wanted the keys." And Sydney says, you might want to let me go. And the woman laughs and says, and why exactly would I do that? And Sydney says, because I've got a group. A lot of people with a shitload of fighters and very little patience for people like you. And they will come looking. And the woman says, save the scare tactics, girl. You have no idea who I am. Just like I've got no idea who you are. I'm not looking to kill anybody today. And she turns her head and looks back and says, "But don't test me." And we then see the car slowing down, and the woman says, "No, no, 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 come on!" We see they ran out of gas, and the woman says, "Damn it!" Sydney says, "We're out of gas." Was gonna fill it up until I got a gun in my face.
Ha!
And the woman looks frustrated, and Sydney says, "Looks like our little road trip ends here, bitch." Oh, and by the way, next time, use tighter knots. Sydney grabs the woman by the neck and forces her hand onto her mouth until the woman passes out.
Ooh, baby. Badass Sydney. Damn.
The woman wakes up and is now tied up and held at gunpoint outside up against the car. And Sydney looks at her and says, "Welcome back. That was quite the stunt you pulled back there." The woman says, "Go ahead. Kill me. Please. It's the biggest favor anybody could do for me." And Sydney says, "I wanted things to go peacefully, but you didn't let me. You knocked me out and tied me up. So don't start with your I want to die bullshit. And if we're being honest here, putting a bullet in your head would probably make the world a better place." The woman says, "Then get it over with. I've got a place a few miles north from here, stocked with guns and supplies. Take them. Bring them back to your people. And tell them you found it." And Sydney says, "Why didn't you kill me?" The woman says, "Like I said, I wasn't looking to hurt you. I just had to get out of here." And Sydney says, "Why?" The woman says, "Because." She kind of hesitates. "There's a group, not too far from here. A few months ago, they killed everyone in my camp. Assassin type. I was coming back from a run, and when I came back, everyone was dead. I was looking through my friends' dead corpses, waiting to find my husband dead with them, but he wasn't there. I've been out here ever since, looking for him." Sydney says, "You know if he's alive?" The woman says, "I don't, but I'm not going to stop till I know. I haven't found a car able to take me anywhere around here. Yours was the first car I found that actually worked." Sydney says, "You said you had supplies?" The woman says, "Yeah." And Sydney says, "Okay, you're going to take me there." The woman starts walking and says, "Can you lower your gun?" And Sydney says, "Nah, I think I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit. Move." And the woman says, "Tread lightly, girl." One hour later, they make it to a cabin, and the woman says, "This is it." Sydney looks kind of emotional and says, "You live here?" The woman opens up the door, and they walk in. They walk in, and we see this place is old and in bad condition. We see cans of food and some guns stored, and we then see Sydney, and the woman says, "Look, I've caused you enough trouble, so take your guns and go." And Sydney asks, "Who were they?" The woman turns around and says, "I don't know, but all I know is that they're everywhere. It's just a matter of time before they find me. And if my husband's out there, I have to find him." And Sydney says, "What's your name?" The woman says, "I'm Amelia." And his name is Ryan. And Sydney asks, "So you never found a body?" Amelia says, "No, but I'm getting an answer, one way or another." And Sydney looks around and says, "This isn't a life, Amelia." And Amelia says, "What?" Sydney says, "Living out here on your own like this? And if it's worth anything, can I give you a piece of advice?" Amelia says, "Please." And Sydney says, "You don't have to stop looking. You just can't run away from what you're living right now." And Amelia says, "But I've got nothing left. No family, no friends. Everyone's an enemy now." And Sydney says, "Yeah, I said that too." We see them sit down, and Sydney tells her, "I was just like you, living out here by myself. And a good while after the world fell, I lost my sister. For a while, I didn't know where she was, so I did the same thing as you. I had a place just like this. I scared everyone that I saw away. Never trusted a single soul, no matter what anybody told me. I never stopped looking for her until a man named Lincoln West found me. He and his friend Tom, they found me at my lowest point, but these guys were looking for a friend of their own, and I decided to help them. And guess what? Because I put my trust in people, and because I believed, I found my sister again. Amelia says, and where is she now? Sydney remembers Emma, and she says she died not too long ago. And Amelia says, I'm sorry. And Sydney looks at her and says, it's okay. I'm starting to think there's a reason why God let me here. And I think I'm here to get you out. Away from this life. And Amelia looks at her with a small smile on her face and says, even after I knocked you out? Sydney says, well, hey, I got you back, so let's call this even. And Sydney says, I've got a lot of people, good people. We're in a town. I'm giving you the choice to come with me. But more importantly, you'll have more than just yourself looking for your husband. And if he's out here, I haven't found one single person that Lincoln has not been able to find. And Amelia says, okay, I've got a few bags. We can bring what we can. And Sydney says,
Damn.
Where was your camp? Amelia says, it's only a few miles north. I never wanted to go too far unless he was looking for me. You sure we're going to be able to find him at your community? Sydney says, of course. And Amelia says, okay, because if he's out there, I want to know. I'd take a bullet for him. And when Sydney hears her say that, she looks sad because of what happened to her sister.
Damn, that was deep. That was good.
Flashback to one day before the outbreak. We see the clock hits 12 o'clock. We see the high school kids walking through the halls and leaving. And we see Emma getting her stuff and getting ready to leave. But then a boy named Andy comes and talks to her. He kisses Emma and says, was looking for you. Hey, me and the guys are going to go to the skate park this afternoon around 2, if you want to come. And Emma says, sure, I'll meet you there. My sister was picking me up. She took her lunch break off to pick me up, though. And Andy says, oh, 2 hours? Oh, babe, I don't know. 2 hours? Do you think we can do that? I'd miss you like crazy. Emma kisses him and says, I'll see you at 2. And we see her walk out of school.
Yeah.
Emma walks out and hops into the car with Sydney. And Sydney says, hey, sis, how was the morning? Emma says, honestly good. But the best part, though, was Andy. He changed seats and sat right next to me at period 1. However, for the rest of the day, he left to go to his other classes. That's when it felt like a full day. Yeah. Sydney says, so you and Andy, huh? Emma says, yeah, trust me. If you saw him, you'd understand. He's so charming. And then we hear something over the radio. The man who was arrested was claimed to be part of the Vipers. One of the biggest drug dealers known in the city of Washington, D.C., has now been sentenced to jail. And Emma tries to switch the station, and Sydney says, hang on, I want to hear this. And the man on the radio says, and we now know it's a matter of time before their leader is revealed and arrested. Now, let's get back to this flesh-eating, and Sydney says, keep running your mouth there. And Emma says, do you think these rumors are true? Sydney says, well, Mom and Dad have been obsessing over this. But I honestly think they're just making this out to be something it's not. And Emma says, yeah, maybe. And Sydney says, you hungry? Emma says, sure. Let me get my card. And Sydney says, no, it's on me. My treat, sis. Emma says, thanks. I'm feeling like Wendy's. We see them getting some food, and then Sydney drives Emma back home and drops her off and heads back to work. Emma walks in and says hey to her mom, Frankie, and says, hi, Mom, where's Dad? Frankie says, oh, your dad's outside mowing the grass in the backyard. I'll say, since he's retired, he's really been making this place look like it's brand new again. And Emma says, cool. I told my friends I'd meet them at the skate park around 2. Is that okay? Frankie says, sure, sweetheart. Just be home by 6 for dinner. And Emma says, thanks, Mom. Two o'clock. We see Andy and a few of his buddies are skateboarding, and Andy walks over and kisses her and says, hey, babe, you okay? You seem different. Emma says, no, I'm fine. It's just, isn't this whole dead coming back thing starting to freak you out a bit? Andy says, babe, honestly, I think it's just a bunch of people trying to put things out there to grab some sort of attention, honestly. I think it's just fake news. And Emma says, yeah, that's what my sister said. And Andy says, come on, let's go join the guys. We see Lindsay walking out of the court, and she's now on her own. Her client went to jail, and she gets into the car and is calling someone. The person answers, and Lindsay says, they got him, Chris. Yeah, I know. And I've got a job for you if you're willing to listen.
Goddamn bitch.
Currently, we see Sydney and Amelia are walking the roads after leaving the cabin, and they then stumble upon Amelia's old camp. But as we reveal, it's the same camp where Emma got killed. We see Sydney and Amelia walking through the ruins. Sydney starts crying and Amelia says, hey, what's going on? Sydney says, this is where she died. And Amelia says, the Vipers? They're the ones who killed your sister? Sydney says, and your camp. And she walks right where Emma died. But now, her body is gone. Sydney then walks through the camp and she kills several deadheads.
Damn.
She's letting out all of her anger, killing one after another. But as she notices, one of the deadheads is breaking off from the rest. Sydney kills the rest of them, but when the last deadhead turns around...
No. Oh, it's probably her, isn't it? Damn.
It's a reanimated Emma. We see the blood on her neck from where she got hit. Sydney then starts crying, and as she pulls herself together, Amelia kills her for Sydney, and they put her down.
Damn. Wow. Very deep.
Flashback to one day before the outbreak. Sydney is driving home. We see her pulling into the driveway. She opens up the door and says, Mom? Dad? I'm home. We don't hear anything. We then see blood on the floor. Sydney looks terrified and is saying, Mom? Dad? Emma? As she turns the corner to see
What the hell?
Frankie and her husband is laying there dead on the kitchen floor. Sydney starts crying, and then we see a message written in blood on the covered door. Tread lightly. And Sydney looks scared, furious, and devastated. But then, we hear the TV in the living room is saying, so all the rumors we've heard is actually happening. Police say there's people have been coming back and literally eating their friends and families alive. We know this type of situation can be very terrifying. We have heard from various people that if these acts continue, the city will go on full lockdown until this is under control. But then, the power goes out.
Huh. Damn.
Sydney panics and is crying. We then see Emma is on her way back to the house. Sydney sees her coming from outside the window. She puts on a brave face and she goes outside, and Emma says, "Hey, the power is going out across the entire block. What's going on?" Sydney says, "Sis, do you trust me?" Emma says, "Yes, why?" Sydney says, "Then I need you to get in the car, okay?" Emma says, "Where are we going? What about Mom and Dad?" Sydney looks at her with the bravest face she can and says, "They're okay." And Emma asks, "Where are we going?" Sydney says, "We're leaving until these reanimated corpses are gone." And they drive away, and we see her put on a brave face for her little sister.
Damn.
They drive out of the city before things were about to fall.
Wow. That's great. I don't know. Maybe be honest. It just makes it worse when you're not. But I get it.
2 months after the outbreak, Sydney says, "You've been asking me about Mom and Dad. I didn't want to tell you then because things were getting too dangerous. But I think it's time you knew the truth." And Emma says, "Sis?" Sydney says, "Remember when I told you to get in the car and we were going to leave?" Emma says, "I did, and you still never told me why we left Dad and Mom." And Sydney says, "Well, they weren't eaten by the dead." She starts crying, and Emma says, "Sis?" Sydney says, "Before you came home, I had just gotten off of work. I was coming back, and when I walked in, they had both been murdered, and they were killed by someone." Emma says, "Wait, are you telling me someone killed Mom and Dad and you didn't tell me?" Sydney says, "I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you, but I knew you'd never leave. And if you saw them, I knew you wouldn't go, and I didn't want to put you through the pain and fear that you were already feeling." And Emma is breaking down, and Sydney walks over and holds her and says, "Hey, you listen to me. You and me, we're gonna survive out here. I know it. Because like I said, whether it's 2 days or 2 years, I am never, you hear me? Never, ever gonna let anything happen to you." And Sydney holds her, and we see a few tears come down her face as she says, "I promise."
Damn. Unfortunately, that didn't last.
Currently, Sydney and Amelia have buried Emma. Sydney is wiping her tears, and Amelia says, "You would have died for her. You didn't fail her. This world is just full of cruelty." And Sydney says, "Well, I'm not giving up. Your husband's still out here, and there's no room for another grave in this world." And Amelia says, "Thanks." And Sydney says, "Come on, we should get back." As they start walking away, Sydney's walkie-talkie is starting to go off. Sydney picks it up, and we hear Luke says, "This is Luke reporting to Sydney. Over." Sydney picks it up and says, "I'm here, Luke. What's going on?" Luke says, "Oh, Sydney, thank God. You need to get back home as soon as possible." Blake is, his voice cuts out, and Sydney says, "Luke? Luke, you're breaking up. Luke?" And Sydney looks at Amelia and says, "We have to go." And they start running back, but then we hear Haley's voice over the walkie saying, "Please, if any of you are out there, please help me."
Oh. Ah, damn. Wow. Damn. That was pretty good. Very deep. Very emotional. Ah. Damn. Crazy. Oh shit. No, no, no. I didn't catch that fast enough. Ah. Damn. Crazy. No, 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 no. You bitch. God damn it. I'm going to click that. Duh. You didn't want me to click that one. God damn it. Kill me. Good. Wow. Let's see. Rappers are pre-apocalypse. Yeah, that's crazy. Lindsay was a sneaky little witch before the apocalypse too. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, she was blind, but whoop. But that's her LOL. Sending with DAA. DAA. She's used to this shit. LOL. Ryan, you know Ryan, who named Julie, took into the city last episode. Yup. Back for flashbacks. Outbreak Day. Fake news. It's a full wrap on Emma's story. Lindsay put a hit on her parents and used Chris for it. So it's a wrap on the sister's story. Yes. Whoop. Yes, sir. Damn, hour over 5. That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, I did say I was gonna crush it. Wow. Excuse me. Damn. 8.8. 8.8 out of 10. Very good. Very good. I liked it a lot. %. Yeah. Very solid. .8, hell yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, it was more deep, you know, which definitely hit the strings. But I liked it. It was, you know, it was very intriguing. Not 10 out of 10 worthy. You know, because it was kind of more laid back, which is not a problem, not an issue. But you know, but more laid back. You know what I mean? More kind of explaining things, which is a good thing. You know what I mean? Kind of giving an insight onto things that kind of happened and how they happened, etc. And that's why I liked them. You know what I mean? I liked a lot of that because it really gave a lot more on what kind of happened here, what kind of happened there, type situation, which I liked that a lot. It was very nice. Kind of wrapped it nicely in a bow. Obviously not perfection, of course, but like the last episode. But I still thought it was really good. So, as for 307, we have the work, dude. Ooh. Waiting to see where Haley is and the aftermath of Blake's death. That's what I can tease from that one. Okay. What's up, Van Cove? Yep, and Lindsay and Cindy have finished to settle on the current date. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The bitch strikes again. You know, it's funny. I was so I didn't even realize that it was actually her. That's the funny thing. I didn't even realize that first because I was so like tied into Sydney's story that when you were saying Lindsay, I wasn't even fucking. I wasn't even thinking that was the same Lindsay. Like I literally was not. It completely blew my mind. It completely just went in, went out, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Literally, and then until that part finally ended, and then it focused on, or then it kind of jumped to kind of Lindsay fully for a second at least, and then I was just like, wait a minute, it's the bitch. What the hell? Completely threw me off. Yeah, the Vipers are criminals back in the day, it seems. Yeah. Not much update in my YouTube banner. Just really getting things up to date. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so you're updating the channel art, you mean? 17 away, you're almost there. Oh, could be. Okay. Definitely not doing the hour 44. Glad you're enjoying Dave. Didn't honestly think his redemption was glad it's enjoying. So you, but glad it's enjoying. You know, I give you credit, brother. You did very good on his solo episode, man. I can't cap. That shit was really good, and it definitely hit. It definitely hit in the heart, and it made me see a different perspective about Dave. Now you got me saying fucking Miles. Fucking Miles. I did say fucking Dave at first, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Whoops. Fucking Miles. Ha! Yeah. Huh. Shit's hysterical. So congrats. You were able to get me to like him. Well, he's a badass. I ain't gonna cap. So that's why I'm liking him. He's a badass. He's real. You know what I mean? I mean, he's just fucking, you know. He's good. Honestly, he's a very complex character, but I like that. I like that. Boy, hey, I respect the man. He turned good. Or more good, I should say. Even Miles is working for us and say, you know, he's a true problem as well. Well, yes, yeah, that's true. Miles, though, for me, I don't know. He seems alright, but, you know, I have to see some action. You know what I mean? I have to see some action. He hasn't proven to me yet. But, I will say, all the information he said, respect. Surely. He said a shit ton. Way more than I thought. And I did not expect that. So that was definitely a shocker. For sure. He gave a lot of info. Good. Truly. So yeah, I respect that. Also had to throw in the fake news in there. I know Miles is low to Dave, I think. I don't know. It seems like Dave is low too. Yeah. Well, see, but you gave me a full, like, kind of redemption situation with Dave, so that's why I was able to kind of turn things around with Dave. But, damn, 506, that's crazy. That is mind-blowing. I guess Harley Quinn, Hyena, I guess, is a very... attractive name, I guess, to be to be interesting. Damn, that's crazy. Wow. Okay. Damn, that one might hit 1,000 at this point. That's insanity. You already know those. I mean, the views with that. You know, I find it interesting because it's all. I don't want to say it's all based on the title, but it kind of is. You know what I mean? You get some very interesting titles, and that frickin' viewership just skyrockets to the frickin' sky. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. That's insane. Obviously, on average, they're getting at least 80 plus, pretty much. Also, side note, season 4, the production of this show goes higher than ever. Something like the movie footage you saw 5x9. Okay, yeah. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, I definitely noticed the improvements for sure. You know, when you first started, and then as you continue on, I definitely noticed it, 100%. I think Dad Walker will probably be with me when we react to what is it, episode 2 of Fly By Night. So that should be interesting. That should be interesting. Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Fly By Night is at the end of the week, yes sir. We'll see more of what Elisa did and Harold's life as an officer, and of course Carlos. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Like I said, Dan Walker will be with me, so we'll be reacting to it. That should be interesting. I don't know if he's seen the first episode. I don't know if he did. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know if he did. I don't know. That was really good though. What did I give it, a 9? Yeah. Yeah, I think I did. Gave it a 9. Solid 9. That's right, that shit was good. I told you, you gotta stop making good shit. Got too much. Damn it. Should show him the first episode because he'll be lost as hell. Yeah. You should have seen Mr. Heisenberg because he was. I was gonna react to what was it, 3 and 4? Yeah, 3 and 4. Freaking. He was like, yeah, go right ahead. I'm like, I'm in season 3. You know. He didn't give a shit. Oh, I found that hysterical. Obviously, we kind of moved some things around, you know what I mean? I ended up doing it later, of course, this and that. Which ended up working fine, you know what I mean? But I thought it was hilarious. It was like, yeah, whatever. Glad you like the promos for the next ones. Try to make it as real as possible. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm truly impressed by those. I ain't gonna lie. Those take it to another level for sure. So Yeah, we're going, man. You started in February. Crazy how far it's come. Yeah. Yeah, that's insanity. Let's keep grinding it through, baby. And the next one, finishing season 3. Man, it feels like we just started this shit. What the hell? Jesus Christ. It's like we just started season 3 not that long ago, and here you are. Already freaking. Bam, bada boom. Yeah, so yeah, the next episode, I'm gonna do episodes 7, 8, and 9. So it's gonna be a three episodes reaction. Let me take my oh man, hold on. Oh damn! All right. Season 4 is the fan favorite for fans. 18 episodes. LOL. Damn. Okay. Crazy. Well, I was trying to unwatch episode 7, but being a pain in the ass, I didn't let me do it. I think it's because it's in the playlist. I think that's why. Which is weird because it's showing me the episodes right here, but it won't let me. Oh, wait a minute, never mind. Aha! Never mind. Now it's able to do it. Okay, there we go. Because I didn't want episode 7 to be watched, but it's just like I didn't even watch it. I only watched the first couple seconds. You know what I mean? Like I didn't mean to click on it. Beauty. Beauty! That's what I wanted. Alright, sweet. Alright. Coolly. Oh! Coolly. Oh. So you have 21 episodes to go. Crazy. Yeah. And you guys are showing a lot of support on my reaction to it, so I do appreciate it, truly. That's crazy. Yeah, you guys show a lot of support for it. So thank you, truly. Let me see how much. Whoops. Damn, that one's doing good. I don't. That's crazy. I'm mind blown. Good. 190, 194, 260. Got the 260. That's the highest one. That is the highest one. The second highest one is season 2. Finale. Penultimate episode of the finale. 194. And then not far but behind that is episodes 3 and 4, season 3. Wow. Yes, sir. They've been W reaction. Always love the honesty and realness of the reaction. Appreciate it. I try. It's my ultimate goal is to be honest. You know, that's what I go for. I don't go for fake reactions like a lot of people do. I don't follow the trend just because to follow the trend, you know what I mean? I don't do that. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. You know? W views for them. I remember 212 was 10 for you, so let that one get good for you. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that one blew up. That one blew up for sure. But quite a few of them got up to the 190. You know what I mean? And it was a gradual increase. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, it was just like, all right, 70. You know what I mean? 80. You know what I mean? The next one, okay, about 80. You know, and the next one, 90, 100. And then, you know what I mean? And then 112. Ooh, okay, and, you know, not 100. You know, and it just kept going up from there. It's like, oh, all right. Huh? You know? It's no difference in Hedgehog Bros. Same thing. It jumps all over the damn place. I kind of laugh at it. It's kind of funny. It jumps all over the damn place. Like I said, I think the title really says it all. Like the title that the episode title that I'm reacting to says it all. You know what I mean? It really does. It tells you, like, is it gonna do good or is it just gonna do average? You know what I mean? Which averages between like 80 and 120. You know what I mean? Like, I would say that's about average, essentially, because that's basically on a regular basis. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it gets. It kind of just jumps around in that, you know, that number. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the ones that really kind of kick off a little bit, it's like 150, 160 up. You know what I mean? Then you're hitting the 200 range, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Which, hey, I'm all down. You know what I mean? So, W's. Yeah, it was small at the start, but now I notice it's popular content on the channel for you. Yeah. Oh yeah. People are catching on. They're like, ooh, okay. What was the Fly By Night 2? I didn't even. Let's see here. Okay, 81. Interesting. Not bad. Alright. Not bad. Solid number. 81 for Fly By Night. Not bad. It's solid, you know. It's decent. Who cares what episode 2 gets? For a new show. Solid start. Yeah, no, not bad. It's pretty good. Yeah, not shabby. Well. Damn, I would do Hedgehog Bros, but jeez, don't be. And I'm seeing some of these episodes too, and I'm like, damn. Lengthy, man. What the hell? You know, I'm starting to think this next one's probably going to be lengthy too. Huh? I'm really am. I'm starting to think it will be. Oh, man. Good Lord. Gotta keep me roped in, I'll tell you what. Gotta keep me hooked in, you know, for real. I mean, especially when I'm seeing hour 35, hour 21, hour 11, hour 6 is not bad, that's fine. 6, 4, 3, that's fine. Hour 14, that's... Hour 20, you know, that's lengthy, you know. So a couple of these are below an hour, that's, I ain't gonna bitch for that. Hour 9, yeah, a little bit up there. And then, of course, the next one I'm doing, lengthiest one ever. Lengthiest one ever on the channel. Oh, Lord. You know what? I don't even think I have an hour and a half in me. I'll be real with you. I don't think I do. I know. Yeah. We're still down for the Walking Dead Thursdays, by the way. Yes. Still shooting for it. Yeah, 7:38. Yeah. That reminds me of season 4 We're Gone Mad. We got several hour 30-minute episodes of season 4. It's when my writing just went crazy with ideas. And then you get these lengthy episodes of yeah, see, I'm okay with lengthy episodes, you know what I mean? I'm cool with that. As long as you keep me entertained, you know what I mean? Like, you keep me fleshed into the story. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with that. I'll say your 50-minute ones and stuff like that were pretty damn good. Definitely felt the length. You know what I mean? Definitely felt the length. Which is not a bad thing, by any means. You know, because a lot of your stuff flows nicely. You know, like those last 2 episodes, they cruised. You know what I mean? Like, they cruised. Like, it didn't even feel like 30 minutes. It felt like 20 or 15. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't even feel... those 50-minute episodes felt like 30, 35, maybe 40, you know what I mean? It definitely felt more lengthy, for sure. You know what I mean? But... damn, though, I didn't think they'll top it. I really didn't think they'll top it. That's... You know, it's gonna be no more insane if they come out with an episode that hits 2 hours. That would be insanity. Ha! Damn. If they come out with that, holy shit. That would be crazy. That would be insanity. You know, if Petrol Bros do that, man, goddamn. I tell you what, that shit better be freaking keeping me on this damn chair. I tell you what. I tell you what. That damn well better. It better. Because that's crazy. That's. You know, because usually the 5 o'clock, the 5 p.m. rolls around, you know what I mean? And they're pretty much saying, all right, adios, amigos. It's 5 p.m., goodbye. You know? So when it's 5 o'clock, And they're still going. 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by. Damn, alright, it's still going. Okay. 20 minutes go by. 5 o'clock's like, what the fuck you doing? You're usually done by this point. Damn. 30 minutes go by. Well, shit, alright, this must be the new norm. It's like, holy crap, Rolly. Ah, damn. Season 4 is when my writing just went crazy with ideas. Lengthy episodes. Absolutely, man. Yeah, one of the 50-minute ones. Dave, one. I'm so glad it worked for you. That one worked pretty good. Been working on a 5A We're Gone Mad. You don't want to know how long these are. That will be a surprise. Oh shit. Better keep me glued, I tell you what. Better keep me glued, you know what I mean? Better keep me glued. Like I said, that last Hedgehog Bros episode, the last one that was an hour 42, it was pretty good, I will say. I don't even know what I rated it. I think it was in the 8s. I think I was in the 8s, maybe. Or was it in the 9s? I might have. It was 8s or 9s. It was one of those two. But I'll tell you what, you want to talk about feeling that length? Holy shit. Damn, brother. Like, I was enjoying it. But there was a point where it really slowed down. Like, it just slowed down. Like, everything just fucking went to, like it was going normal speed, you know what I mean? It was, you know, going, you know. And I was like, alright, you know what I mean? Get the other characters in there, alright, still going. And it's just like, then it just like, it's slow mode. It's just like, it's not long enough. We gotta slow it down. And that's what it felt like. It really did. It freaking just, time froze, and it just sat. And then it just, blank. And I was like, whew, okay, what the fuck? I'm like, am I halfway? You know? Damn. And then I actually did. I checked. Where the hell am I at? You know, I was like, am I even majority through? Check. Ah, shit, I'm not. Damn, okay. I'm not even majority through. I'm like, damn, okay. Talk about going slow. Yeah, I felt at that length, really felt. So, episode 183, woo! Damn, that's gonna be a lengthy. This will probably be 2 hours in length, guys. The stream itself will probably be 2 hours. I can already bet your ass on that one. That's an hour and 44 minutes. In 18 seconds. Damn. We got our boys Nuts, Mr. Knuckles, but whew. Hopefully he's entertainer in this one, I'll tell you what. Shit. Hour 44, man. Damn. I'm gonna definitely feel it. Tell you what. You know? I just hope they keep it entertaining, you know what I mean? That's my fear, you know what I mean? If you freaking get some mech characters in there and it just drags. Oh god. That's gonna be very irritating. You know what I mean? Nuck's entertaining though. I like Nux. He's good. He's good. And the uncle, Tails' uncle. I like him. He's good. He's good. So I see them in there. I don't know anybody else, but you know those two are for sure. And I do like those characters. So you know, it just gotta keep moving. You know what I mean? It's gotta just flow. It's gotta flow nice. If it flows nice, hey, hour 44 might be fine. You know, but that's if it flows nice. Might not flow nice. We'll see. I'll tell you what though, I don't have an hour 44 in me. I don't. Well, actually 2 hours. I should say 2 hours. Maybe 9:30. I don't got that in me. I don't. Not right now. I do not. I bet you when I get to the hour mark, I'll get tired real quick. And that's even if I make it to that. I might not. I might only get 40 minutes in, 30 minutes in. So, I will react to that episode when I get some shut-eye. After I get some shut-eye. When I get some shut-eye, then I'll react to the episode. At least I'll be more alive. Working hard to make sure these hit the mark. Okay. Shooting for a late fall release. W's. I saw you giving that show a 6 and a 5 out of 10. That's insane. That's me with fear. Check G, see how much time is left. Yeah, it was episode 1. It was episode 172, I believe. Yeah, episode 172. Ha! 6 out of 10. I can't give it any higher. I cannot. That episode was just meh to me. I really it was just okay. That's all it was. It was just okay. I cannot. I think I was even trying to be nice, 6.5, and then the more I kept thinking about the episode, I'm like, there's not really much like making me that I liked about the episode. It literally, you know what I mean? It was literally freaking the Amy character bitching the whole goddamn episode. I was like, shut up. Like, the shit was kind of irritating. I ain't gonna lie. It was kind of irritating. It was like, freaking, like, damn, man. Like, Jesus Christ. I just, it was just okay. And like I said, you had 2 funny characters that came in there that made it a little bit enjoyable. And that's why I give it a 6. Because the one character was actually speaking facts, you know what I mean? And she was just fucking in denial, and it was irritating. It really was. And she was over there crying about, well, Sabrina's hot, and you know, and she's a celebrity, and she's better than me in every way possible. I'm like, oh my god. Nobody cares about that. Come on. She was just being stupid. I was like, good Lord. Out of your ass, for God's sakes. You know? And he was trying to, like, prove to her that she's better than that, which she is. And she just wasn't believing it. She was like, nah, you're wrong. You know, that's what matters. You know, popularity and all this shit. And I was like, no, that nobody cares about that. Come on. That sounds terrible. Right, yeah. It really was. I mean, it just, you know what I mean? And then And then in the end of the episode, then it's the freaking, it's the Sonic brother tries a second time. Want to go see a movie? Want to go out and see a movie? You know, as acquaintances, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! Here we go again, a second time. The same bullshit. I'm like, ah, oh, come on. Yeah. Very predictable. Predictable. Jeez. How many times can you ring it again? Because I do. I remember watching that episode freaking a while back, you know. Well, Dave was in the episode, actually, and she beat the hell out of him. And that's what actually kind of made it a little bit entertaining, actually. That did make it a little bit entertaining. But I remember that when he freaking goes out with her in the episode, and I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Maybe he's not, you know, that bad of a brother, you know what I mean? And then he dumps her and freaking ditches her for another girl, and I was like, that fucking cheapskate. You know what I mean? I mean, he literally just fucking played her the whole goddamn time. It was so ridiculous. And I was like, okay, never mind. He's a scumbag. And then ever since then, I hated that fucking character. I did. I hated that character, and I hate the character to this point. He came back in the series, and I'm like, oh man, alright. What's the fucker doing now? You know? And then he said, oh, I'm changing. I'm being a better person. This and that. And I'm like, okay. We'll see about that. You know? Dave's. Well, this Dave is a fucking idiot. At least your Dave is a badass. This Dave in here, he's fucking terrible. He's horrible. His fucking voice is bad. He sounds like he's dying or some shit. I don't know. It's just like, what the hell, brother? You know, it just, it's kind of cringe in some aspects. I don't know. It's kind of a struggle to listen to. I mean, I've gotten used to it. You know what I mean? But from made him pay him a visit. Yes, kill him. I mean, see, you know what's funny? The only reason why I don't mind the Dave in the Hedgehog Bros is because he makes it entertaining by then beating him up. That's how he's entertaining. So, you know, when they put him in there and then they beat the fuck out of him, it's entertaining. So then it's like, okay, it was pretty good. You beat the fuck out of Dave, you know. And so it makes it entertaining. So it's like, alright, yeah, that's fine. And that's why I love it. I love it when they're freaking doing that. You know, one of the episodes, I think it was the prison one, when he was actually in prison, which he was in prison. Let me see which one it was. Oh my god, that shit was fucking, that was so good. What did I give it? I think I gave it a 10. I might have gave it a 10. It was either that or a 9. I think at the very least I gave it a 9, or maybe I gave it a 9.5. Let me see. Wow, yeah, that was a while ago. Oh yeah, right there, jailbreak. That. Oh man, I was actually very concerned. One day went up, one day went down. That's hilarious. Yeah, right, for real. Yes, fucking jailbreak. Oh my god, episode 130. Oh shit, bro. That shit was hysterical. You know, I was actually very concerned about that episode too, because I was like, oh great, Dave's in it. Oh god, this is gonna be, you know, but my man Sonic and Tails is in it, you know what I mean? And they're like an 8 out of 10 right off the bat. Just those two characters, banger episode every time, usually. 99% of the time, freaking banger. Always. But then you got Dave. Shitty fucking character. So it's like, that's okay. That's kind of like a, alright. That's a twist, you know? Or that's an interesting situation, you know? But damn, made it fucking great. I have to tell you what, that episode was so good. Oh my goodness. I was actually impressed. I really was. I did not think I was going to enjoy it that much. And I did. I enjoyed it a crap ton. I love that. World Gone Mad and Sonic. When you see Dave in it, it's a worry, but now times are changing for both of these shows. LOL. Right? Oh yes. No, I've always hated Dave ever since they showed Dave in this Hedgehog Bros. I hated him since the damn beginning because again, when he started speaking, his voice right off the bat, I was like, nah. I wasn't digging it. It was cringe. It's still cringe. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just not great. It's not great, but and he's just he's such a loser. He's the biggest loser on this planet. I tell you what. And he wants to freaking take over the world and shit. I'm like, frick out of here. Like, you're trash. You ain't gonna do shit. He wants to do all this abomination and shit. I'm like, get out of here. But that episode was fucking hysterical though. I think I did give it a 10. I might have gave it a 10. It was either that or 9.5, a 9 at the very least. And the reason why, so it is them two getting him out of jail, which is sad. But what they did, which is what made it very entertaining, they beat the shit out of him the whole freaking episode. Pretty much. I think it was like, 70% of the episode is them beating the shit out of him. Fucking hysterical. Oh my god. I'm sitting there laughing. I did not, you know, that episode, I probably laughed so damn hard, I almost probably was going to pee my pants. It was that fucking funny. It really was. I was running out of laughter because I was like, oh my god, you know. It was just so damn hysterical. To see them get beaten the shit out of them. I mean, it was enjoyable. I was like, wow, okay. They made this shit really good. So, that was a shocker. I ain't gonna lie. You know, imagine I put Sonic's Dave's voice and we're going mad for the Dave's lines. That'd probably make it painful. Oh, jeez. Hell no. Don't. That killed the character, believe me. No. They're really good. Your Dave would sound like a badass, a deep, cool voice, you know what I mean? This Dave, he's trash. He's only enjoyable for getting his ass whooped. That's it. You know what I mean? Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. You know, nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. And to this day, I cannot stand that character. And I probably would never like that character. I probably will never will. And you know what? That's okay. Majority don't. I know that for a fact. Everybody hates him. Literally. Every time he comes on screen, oh god, get this. Punch him again. That's what they say. Punch him again. Beat him up. Get rid of this squat. Because they don't like him either. Fucking hysterical. Oh man. Freaking hysterical. I'll tell you what. Thanks. Yeah, Dave hopefully will survive. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Unfortunately, he won't die in this series. They tried. They tried to kill him. Hell, they tried to kill Sonic's brother, which I would have been great if he died. But he didn't die. And it made me sad. I was like, ah, damn. Bastard. Even Shadow was surprised. He was just like, I don't know how the hell he freaking survived that, but he somehow, miracle, survived it. And I'm like, fucking plot armor. Goddamn plot armor. Fuck you. Goddamn bastards. Fucking plot armor. Beat the fuck out of that. Curse you. Let the fucker die. Let him die. He's trash. Kill him. Just kill him. It will do us better. Believe me, it will. Damn it, plot armor. They couldn't have his ass die, of course. Well, it's Sonic's brother. We can't kill him. We can't. Yeah, you can. You can kill the fucker. He's trash. He's a terrible brother. He can die. I don't care. He's trash anyway. He ruins his life. Frick him. Piss on him. I don't like him. I gave him a chance too. I did. I gave that son of a bitch a chance. I did, because he said he was going to be better and this and that. I was like, all right. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You proved to me that you changed, and I'll consider. I'll consider. You know what I mean? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You proved to me that you could change. I might start liking it. You know what I mean? Prove to me. You know what I mean? Be like Dave, right? You could change. He could be better. You know. And he was being nice and this and that. And I was like, okay. Alright. And then sure enough, different character came in and he started being a jerk. Said a couple things. I was like, it's a little suspicious, you know. And then sure enough, freaking Dave from World Gone Magazine, maybe he can too. Come on, Dave. Right. Right. And then nope, he turned right around and then he started hating on Sonic, and I was like, you fucker. That's what I knew right there. Nope, piece of shit. Because then he came out and he's just like, because Sonic was getting a girl, you know what I mean? He was doing this, doing that. So a bunch of good things were going his way, and that was pissing him off. That was pissing off Manic, his brother. And that's when his true colors came out. His true colors came out, and I was just like, this son of a bitch ain't changing. He's never changing. He will never change, ever. He's a prick, and he can go fuck himself. He can go die in a river, I don't care. I do not care. Because he said fuck Sonic and this and that and fuck his girl and then anybody that likes him, fuck you, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, fuck you too. I was like, you bastard. I mean, his jealousy completely showed it, His jealousy proved it right there. It did. Proved it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what is wrong with you? It was insanity. It really was. I freaking laughed at it though. It was funny. But yeah, his jealousy came out. It really did. And even somebody asked him, you know what I mean? Somebody, which I thought was a great question. Somebody asked him, it's like, why do you hate Sonic so much? You know, or why do you hate him that much? And he's just like, well, why do you like him? And I'm just like, what the, frickin' turning around, bruh. How about you answer that question first? You know, but he couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand it. He's just like. He's like, he doesn't deserve no fucking happiness. He doesn't deserve nobody's. He doesn't deserve nothing. He doesn't, I deserve to get all the bitches. He doesn't deserve to get shit. He doesn't deserve this, that, this, everything. I was just like, fuck you. I'm like, you're a prick. Go F yourself. It pissed me right off. I was like, nah, he is cool. You are a loser. You freaking steal girls and then you freaking cheat on them when they freaking when you see another hot babe that freaking walks by and some shit. You know what I mean? Or you start hating on another girl because you found another one that looked more hot or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he does. He's such a scumbag. But it's like you wonder why you're that low. You know what I mean? It's like people like that. I was like, piss off. You know what I mean? You're no good. You don't got any morals. Because you just can't stand how great his life is going, even though he goes through hell all the damn time. Sounds like a player to me. Oh, yeah, he is. You know what I mean? You should. Him bitching about him though, it's crazy though. I gotta tell you what, his bitching is crazy, bro. I just can't believe it. Honestly, it's insanity. It really is. I really couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was. It was this episode too. Yeah, episode was it 178. His freaking his jealousy, bro. I freaking it was hysterical. I just can't. I can't. It's fucking sick. All the people in the chat started fucking calling his ass out, and I'm sitting here laughing the whole fucking episode. Because this is fucking funny. It's great, but he deserves it.
I can't believe I got stood up. This was so important to me.
Let me jump to the part here.
Yes. Thank you, Night Period of it. Sorry, man, if something came up last minute for Amy, she feels bad about it. Well, I wish that I didn't have to feel bad. But instead, I'm here being stood up, and I feel bad about it. Thank you, Dead Shrimp. Man, it's just us here with you now. So be honest. Where actually were you for the learned growth?
Oh yeah. He gives us bullshit speech. This is a bullshit speech, right?
Well, maybe I will.
Wait.
Thank you, Obi-Wan. Sorry, Big Greek.
Whoop.
Where actually were you for the last few years?
Right here. This is his bullshit speech, and I roll my eyes. I roll my eyes every time he fucking says this shit because it's such bullshit garbage. I'm like, fuck out of here with it. Like, seriously.
We're traveling.
Like, if anybody believes it, you're fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, really. Like, I believed it at first, but after seeing him freaking go off and shit, I'm like, nah, bunch of garbage.
Learn myself. And I've been learning and growing to learn and learning to grow. I've been so grown and learned. My learned growth has been so good. Thank you, Obi-Wan.
Like, what? Like, what the fuck? The learning to grow. Like, bro, what the fuck? It's so fucking stupid. It's like, what? Learning to grow my ass. You didn't learn shit.
Sorry, Big Green, if you want to join me at Club Silver.
I'll jump a little bit.
Actually, I didn't. Sorry, that does kind of sound like I remember.
What the fuck is that dialogue? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's saying I'm learning to grow and growing to learn. I'm like, bitch, you didn't learn shit. Not from your actions. It doesn't prove to me anything. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't prove to me that you learned anything. Like, you're literally coming here and you're literally coming to the girl that you dated when you were freaking in your teens, you know what I mean? And that went to shit. And now you're literally coming back to her, and now you're begging on your knees to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And now you're trying a second time, thinking that it's fucking gonna go great. It's like, oh my god, like, you know, this shit's predictable. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I already know. Like, I don't even need to fucking, you know, I can just be like, yep, it's gonna go right to shit, just like it did the first time. You know what I mean? Because the shit's predictable. It's fucking predictable. It's like, it's not gonna go good. You know it won't. And he's fucking stupid. He's stupid, and she's stupid for going with him. You know? I mean, I'm... you know? It's like you haven't changed for shit. You know what I mean? You haven't changed for garbage.
Get away.
You know?
You must embrace the darkness to win her back. Destroy
Yeah,
Sonic
see, you
forever.
got some of those people who gotta win the darkness. It's like, fuck off.
Live in his shadow. Ha ha ha. Okay, now hold on. No. Actually, I need to say something right now. I need to say something. You know what? Fuck Sonic.
See right here, this is where he freaking starts going out.
I'm gonna be in his shadow. I'm taller than him. I would cast a longer shadow than his stupid little ass. And if you want to talk to me about that little fucking, then let's talk, okay? Let's talk about this fucking bullshit that I'm going through right now. I said, hey, let's go. Cece, tell us. Wow, Amy stood you up for Sonic. Here you are again, alone in face. This Sonic is just better than you, huh? No, this cannot be happening. Sonic is the business one. He cannot crush a single percentage of the number that I can Puss in Boots. Looks like you have no mujeres, muchacho. Puss in Boots. I will give you a third boot. I will give you my boot, and I will knock you straight up your asshole. I swear to God, man. Puss in Boots, you're gonna have a boot up your ass as well as on your little feet. Thank you, Rebel Lion Leo. You may be talented, but not as successful as him. What success does he have? He is a hobo. He is literally a hobo. He works for the most evil organization on the planet. We even have GUN is like the CIA.
Blue ass, what the fuck am I hearing? Yeah, freaking, like, who cares that he has a blue ass? You have a green ass. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, but yeah, you can see the jealousy, you know what I mean? You see that he's calling him out. Oh, he's working at gun, this and that. Now, you know, the most evil corporate. Now, my freaking 2 cents on that one was, well, who gives a fuck? He's doing it for the money. He's not doing it because he likes working there. He's doing it because of the money. So who cares? You know what I mean? Like, you're not insulting him for freaking working there. Like, whatever. You know? Like, you're not making a freaking, you know, he's doing it for the money. Which, do I blame him? No. I would do the same shit. Whatever. You know what I mean? Make some quick money and fucking dip. You know? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
I'm fucking steroids, okay? You have no idea. You ever read unconventional news sites? Why you hate the Lajari? Why do you not? Dragon Tiger, maybe you should stop being a rotten brother.
Oh, that was a good
Who
one.
are you talking about? Are you talking about Sonic? Are you talking about the most rotten fucking brother ever? He is so rotten. He is 85% alcohol by volume. Okay? He is the most rotten you can get.
Bullshit.
Obi-Wan Coyote, wait, so Sonic is cheating on Sabrina with Amy.
No.
He's double dipping, and I'm alone here. What? This is not.
Of course, you get a person saying that, which is not. That was not what he was doing. They were helping each other to go on a mission to save a person. That was what they were doing. You got idiots like that guy right there saying, "Oh, it's cheating on him." It's like he's not doing that. You dumbass.
This is like if something started rolling uphill. It's like this is the laws of physics getting broken. Night Fury Lover, it's not romantic. They're looking for a friend.
Yeah,
That's the kind of thing I would say. That is the kind of bullshit I would say. People are stupid, okay? That's easy.
Talk to the one who's talking.
How stupid can you get? That's the kind of shit I would call. I would say.
Oh, bullshit! Bullshit!
Okay? And then I would crush so much pussy. How this is ridiculous. How is Sonic dating pop stars and getting with like the cute bitches at like cafes that I want to bang? How is this happening to me? How could this ever happen to me? This is my life. This is my life. Here I am. I'm standing on a street corner. I am so bitchless right now. My DMs are as dry as me. Okay?
Well, that tells you how shit your life is. See, that's why I enjoyed this episode, because it's just him getting shitted on the whole fucking time. Because I don't give a fuck about him. So hey, whatever. You know what I mean? You can go piss off. I don't care. My DMs are as dry as me. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's probably because you're such a fucking loser. You know what I mean? Because you keep fucking leaving and then you dip to another girl. It's like, yeah, no shit. No wonder why nobody wants to be with you. Maybe if you actually be a good person and don't be a cunt and fucking actually treat them great and not fucking dip on them at the last millisecond. You know what I mean? Maybe you might actually keep one. You know what I mean? And treat them great, you know? Like, you know, doing it just to fucking be like, oh yeah, look at this, I got sexy babe, bitch. You don't got shit. Like, who cares? Like, nobody cares, you know? Like, you're not impressing me, you know what I mean? Which I feel like that's what he's always trying to do, is impress people. Nobody fucking cares. Like, that's where I think he's stupid. He's a dumbass. Because he doesn't get it. You know? His sister is kind of the same way in a sense. Because she always keeps bringing up, well, you're lonely, this and that. Who cares? Like, God, you make it like a relationship is everything. It's like, no, it ain't. You know? Like, relationship is not. That's like, it's like an added thing. It's like, it's nice, you know what I mean? But it's not like, it's a must need, you know? She makes it like it's everything. It's like, and then him, well, you know, he just fucking runs around thinking he's hot shit.
Rebel Leo, my bad, maybe just as successful as you, but still more popular. Why? Why? He takes after our father. He must be the biggest asshole ever in spite of his tiny size. Tell me to be your auras defeated Sonic got hosed. I know Sonic's got hosed, and pigs are gonna start flying, and I'm just gonna drop through a pit into frozen hell right now. Thanks to Lightning Tiger. It's you, your rotten green pineapple. Oh yeah. Then why is my life so suck? If Scum floats to the top, then why am I at the bottom? Thanks, Detru. Man, you disappear for so long and come back assuming anybody gives two shits about you. Ooh. The most interest we have in you is whether or not you have pure intentions. Your mask is slipped.
That was the best fucking comment ever. I recorded that one because that was a fucking dead-on comment. So you get people like that. Bam, bam, baby. He nailed his ass right there. We had interest in you to see whether or not you had pure intentions. Well, your mask has slipped. You do not.
What the fuck?
What a shocker.
Pure intentions. What is purity? That's a concept. And you can put the goalposts for purity anywhere you want to put them. That's a concept. It's subjective. You can call that anything. What is pure and impure? That's something people make up. What are
coming up with bullshit to counteract what he's saying? It's like, bro, come on.
What are you doing? What are you doing right now? Shut up. Shut the fuck up. What are you doing?
See, now at this point, now he's just getting fucking angry because you're making him look like an idiot.
Wait. CC Turles. Yeah, you're right. He has a job. He has women. He has money. He'll live with his boyfriend soon in his own apartment. Meanwhile, you exist. No woman, no job, no house, and greed. Damn, it's up for you. No. I feel lightheaded. Child of the moon, he has a stalker offering to pay him to date her. No one is stalking me. Not because they like me, at least.
Right.
Not anymore. Man's shadow always. I've been cursed by some voodoo shit. I know about 15 girls who would like to do that, so I don't even know who I need to talk to about this. Thank you, Rebel Leo. Well, there, Amy is not a bitch to be played like that. You best change your ways if you want a woman like Amy and the most pure being ever.
100%.
You're talking about Amy being the most pure being ever. Are we talking about the same person? Are we talking about the same person? It's in the news, she has flown into a rage and beaten up several men in the street. She liquefied me.
Well, the purest part is incorrect, but everything else.
I had to have reconstructive surgery and I may never regain full control over my pinkies.
Well, you did that to yourself. That one you did to yourself because you showed up and she warned you to leave and you didn't leave. I mean, payback's a bitch.
Lost Child Lord, so we all recording this, you know. Why the fuck should I care anymore? Why the fuck should I care? I'm getting blown off and stood up for what? For Sonic so he can go flying in his stupid fucking plane in his head since he was like fucking 5 because oh man, you don't understand. He was so gifted he could do it. Why should a 5-year-old child be allowed to have his own plane, even if he is gifted enough to pilot it? Maybe I could have flown a plane if I was given a chance. He stole a plane and proved that he could fly it, and then he's allowed one because how he got rewarded for being bad as a kid. Why should my luck be like this and his is the true hero? Okay, people, this is going too far. I know you don't like that, but you're all being so cruel. I'm going to find Big and let him know you're all bullies. Yes. Tell whoever that crazy guy is that these people are believing me. Thank you, Ray. How are you colored like money, but aura poor?
Ah, damn. Oh, yeah. How are you colored like money, but yet so poor? Damn.
You are the most mean little flappy skin underarm gremlin I have ever met. Now the Dark Seeker, you and Amy make the best dark couple. Well, maybe if I wasn't being blown off for the... It's because of the fucking plane! It's because of the fucking plane! He's always had the stupid plane! He's been flying planes for 20 years! Obi-Wan seems we need to find a way to cancel Sonic Man. How do you...
That's the loser right there. Piss on that guy.
What can you think of that I haven't already tried? Try me, okay? Suggest something.
You'll always fail.
How I
Every time.
do it sometimes. People don't understand what he really is.
Oh, bullshit. See, now he's trying to give you the sappy story. He's a terrible person. He's evil. You don't get it. Yeah, bull fucking shit.
Understand me. He's a villain. He's a villain. Thank you. Oh, child. Press the X button to break down. No, this is not a breakdown. Let me break down for you what a terrible person Sonic is. I can break that down for you. I'm not breaking down. I'm breaking this shit down for you. So even you little robot man, you can understand. Gentrim, you should care because once upon a time, you could have been better than this. Your issues with Sonic stealing the spotlight, so to speak, would be solved if you didn't waste time bitching.
Ooh. 100%.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He's too fucking stupid. He don't.
How is this bitching?
That's exactly what you're doing. You're fucking bitching. That's exactly what you're doing. You're bitching about how shitty your life is and how great his life is. That's exactly what you're doing.
Emotions. I am upset by what has transpired in my life.
Well, boo-hoo.
Rebel Leo. And why would she do that to you, man? It's not like you did anything wrong, right?
Ah!
I've never done anything wrong in my life.
Damn.
Oh, wait, you left her for another woman right in front of
Ooh.
you. And now you're playing the nice guy to get in their pants. Carter, it feels like my my physical and emotional self is being judged.
And rightfully
As
so.
if we as mortal creatures don't all have desires and social things that we need. Basil, it's not easy being green. No, Basil. No, it is not. It is not easy being green.
That has nothing to do about being green. It's just you definitely give the green color a bad image. I'll tell you what.
Neil, while this is very upsetting to hear, Manic, and while you have my sympathies, you have still yet to pay for your medical bills.
Ha!
I thought that was a charity clinic. There were several people who told me it was. What? What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Shut up! Shut the fuck up! What are you doing? Shadow Lord, consider that we have to stop Dick from dealing with you. So now you're gonna send that giant fat guy to pick me up.
That'd be great.
Carrots before he needs to beat people up. Last Shadow Lord, what man-child cries about that? I am not a man-child. I am a man with a childlike wonder.
Yeah, it's man-child.
I'm not a man-child.
Womp womp.
Listen, Sonic is a fucking villain. You guys don't understand. He's always been
The hell
trying
he
to
is.
ruin my life like this.
Oh, bullshit.
Thank you, Puss in Boots. Womp womp, poor muchacho, so maidenless. Sad. You know what? Puss in Boots. You know what? That's it. I swear to God, I'm gonna find you. If I ever see you, it is on sight. What's with the fucking hat, Puss in Boots? But if boots are your thing, then why is the hat even bigger than everything else that you wear?
What the fuck? Whatever.
I'm gonna give you so many boots. I'm gonna boot you so much that you'll be Puss in Boots to the max.
Damn. Yeah, I like to see him
I'm
try.
gonna go home. And I'm gonna listen to indie, soft ballads, and slam poetry, and be in my feelings. Goodbye.
Yeah, go cry home. I can't help that shit. It's funny. It's fucking hysterical. That shit was so hysterical. Oh my gosh. Now you know what I mean. Like, he's such a scrub, you know what I mean? Like, he really is. He's the biggest scrub ever. Biggest joke. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I hate his character. Because he's such an ass. And then he wants me to feel sympathy for him. It's like, fuck you. I ain't gonna feel sympathy for you. You did it to your goddamn self. You know? He honestly sounds like, yeah, right, that's what I'm saying. Like, and he says he's not crying, you're not bitching, this and that. That's exactly what you're doing. If you're that blind, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I really don't. It proves the stupidity. It really does. You're that in denial to not even freaking see what you're doing. I explained it very well in that episode, actually. I stated, if you make poor choices, you're going to get poor results. You know what I mean? Consequences for your actions. You could change those actions and you'll get better results. Simple as that. You know, if you keep thinking that what you're doing is right, when it's clearly not right, but yet you think it's right, you know what I mean? There's the problem. You know what I mean? Because that's pretty much telling me that you think what you do is always right, and what he does, or what anybody else does, is wrong. You know? And I get that out of him every time, and it's unreal. It's in denial. You know, it's in denial, and I can't stand it. It drives me insane. It drives me insane. You know, I want to punch him in the head myself. But bam, right in the face. Maybe knock some sense into him. You know, get some brain cells in that brain, for God's sakes. Good Lord. I mean, it's just like, come on. You know. But he was saying F him and F that and F this. And I can't stand. He doesn't deserve happiness. He said that in the last one. Not the one I showed you. That one, he was a little bit more better. You know, I mean, you clearly, he still said F him, but the one before that, when he really, like, went all out, like, he freaking, you want to talk about being a scum. Like, he proved that how low he could go. And it was just ridiculous. I could not believe it. I was like, wow. And you wonder why I hate you. Like, you're an asshole. Like, fuck you. You know? Like, go to hell. I don't care. You know? That's why I was not happy for it to come back. I was like, you know, I don't know. You know? And that's why every time Sonic calls him out and shit like that, like, he freaking nails it to the T. He's like, oh, fuck that asshole. Get that asshole out of here. I'm like, facts. 100%. He's not stupid. He knows. You know, and again, you got Amy, well, you know, at least where I'm at anyway. You got Amy that thinks he's a great guy, and then you got Sonic that just knows. You know what I mean? He just knows everything. He knows what he does. He knows how he does his shit. He knows how he plays. You know what I mean? He just knows because he reads it. It's not hard to read him, but obviously he's, you know, brothers. So obviously they gotten to know each other very well. So he knows what the hell he does to do things, to go a certain way, and this and that. You know, and everything. He just knows how to brainwash you to make it seem like it's very good when it really isn't. It's trash. You know, it's garbage. You know, but of course Amy doesn't see that. She's very. I don't think she has enough brain cells in there, evidently. So she can get manipulated kind of easily. You know what I mean? Obviously, there is an extent to that. You know, but she can get brainwashed easily. Like she thinks he's a great guy again. It's just like, but he's not. So you're letting him get to you again, and that's, you know what I mean. And it's just like, oh, there we go. You know what I mean? Second chance, second charm. You know. Here we go. It's the freaking meme from you know, it's the fucking meme from whatchamacallit? San Andreas. The GTA San Andreas. Ah shit. Here we go again. Ah shit. Here we go again. Repeat. Except, oh, here's the twist. Now we're older. It's like, that don't make it better. Oh. You know. But yeah, it's just that craziness, you know. Excuse me. Also, Adobe Reaction Bro, gotta head out for now. Take care, homie. Alright, appreciate that, Div. Much love. But yeah, I figured I'd share that because it just was so damn funny. But yeah, freaking yeah, what a loser. I tell you what, man, that's crazy. What a loser! I cannot stand him. Damn, I-88. It'll be a hot tomorrow. Tell you what. Marginal risk of fair weather. 71. Jeez. 88 degrees. It's gonna feel a little bit warmer. Tomorrow 85. Friday 88. Feel like 91. Well, 70. Ooh. I don't buy that. Humidity 71%. It's not gonna feel like 59. You're on crack. It will not feel like that. Come on, not when it's that freaking warm. Especially when the humidity's that high. You're insane. Yeah, hot. Yeah, some of these are crazy. Out of whack. Yeah, a little cool there. That's not bad. Like, right back to 80s. To my Alright. So, but yeah, so that was the stream. Apologize, kind of went on for a bit longer, but I couldn't help it. I thought it was funny. I love laughing at his suffering. It's hysterical. You know what I mean? I only do that to people, to the characters that deserve it. You know what I mean? Characters that deserve it. But he deserves it, 100%. You know what I mean? Because again, it's like you do it to yourself. You know what I mean? Like you can fix it, but you choose to keep being stupid. Can't help you there. You know. But yeah. So. Alrighty. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Fire episodes, 10 out of 10. And 8.8 out of 10 for episodes 6 and episode 5. So let me know what you guys thought of the episodes. Again, check out Dan. Check out the playlist. Links are in the description for both of them. Show them love, support. I appreciate that. All credit goes to him, of course. Social medias, second channel, Twitch channel. Heisenberg's channel down below as well. Check them all out. Stay up to date with me all the time. Hit that like button and go for 5 to 7 likes. That'd be awesome. And subscribe if you guys are new for more fire content. For sure, we got 5 by Night, episode 2, this Friday, so that should be fire. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, your man is gonna get some sleep. So yeah. I plan to come back with Hedgehog Bros as the next stream when I get up and such like that. And then after that, I'll do Walker Dead's Zombie Apocalypse episode 1. So I'll shoot through that as well. And then maybe another episode of Hedgehog Bros, maybe. So we will see. So yeah, we'll at least squeeze in one for sure. So whether we squeeze in another is going to be up in the air. So anyways, see you guys in the next one over here. Sign out. Peace. Have a good one, guys. Watch out. Stay safe.